This is Tata, and welcome to not only the Wrestling Time post show, but to also the WrestleManiacs podcast, as we are live both on Rangers of Wrestling and on APlus Hero Report. It is Friday, April 5th, 2024, and tonight I'll be talking about Friday Night SmackDown, but I'm not alone. Joining me for this review is fellow WrestleManiac, Josh.
Hey, evening, Donna. Yes, SmackDown was quite a show, I'll just say. I mean, we'll definitely get into the goods and bads and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's definitely WrestleMania weekend for sure. You can definitely tell it's coming.
How are you feeling? I know this is your first WrestleMania week.
Pretty good. Really, I think I as I mentioned earlier, really the Hall of Fame this evening was kind of a tough one to get through after SmackDown, but definitely excited for sure for tomorrow.
JJ's in the chat. Hey, what's up, JJ? Michael's also in the chat. He says snooze down. Yeah, SmackDown was something.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into this. First, we got to talk about Jey Uso. The little promo he talked about how he says about he took his family drama and how he was going to whoop Sikoa, and tomorrow night he was going to whoop Jimmy. And I bring this up because the main event was Jey Uso versus Sikoa. This started off being a decent match, but the match ended in DQ after Jimmy attacked him. Of course, we got a small preview of WrestleMania, and with the Avengers, Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins coming out to help Jey. And then Cody whipped Jimmy and Solo with that strap, but then when Jimmy tried to leave, Jey stopped him, and he got hit with the crossroads, Uso splash, and then Seth Rollins whipped Jimmy. So I was like, this is it? I felt like this didn't have as much heat.
I think that's been the problem. If you look at all of our reviews, previews, the heat between these matches have been so just lackluster. I mean, they've just been so, to me, I mean, yes, if you're going to have the baby faces, win in the end, give it to Solo. Don't give it to Jimmy, because now it's like, okay, Jimmy, you got beat up by, 3 of the baby faces. I get the idea of, the brother has to splash him, but I don't know. It just felt out of place, Jimmy taking the loss here, or taking the, beat down, I should say.
JJ says he hasn't seen SmackDown yet, but he doesn't know when he'll get to watch it, so he figured, thank you for tuning in. Well, happy to tell you what happened on SmackDown.
Yep.
Yeah, I just felt like this really didn't have as much as intensity. It wasn't the same. SmackDown felt like a small build-up show tonight, somewhat. Because, after this, Cody Rhodes cuts a promo where he's basically talking about how he was going to slap The Rock so hard that his ego is going to lift out of his body.
Mm-hmm.
And then, on Sunday, he talks about how he's going to dethrone Roman Reigns. And he basically says, with one good story ends, an even better one begins. And that's basically how SmackDown goes off the air. This felt like a typical Cody Rhodes promo, but that last line kind of makes me think that, maybe foreshadows the ending to WrestleMania Sunday. You got Cody Rhodes beating Roman Reigns, becoming champion. Roman goes away, The Rock goes away, and a new story starts with Cody Rhodes being champion.
Well, it's funny because I think he just recently called this era the Renaissance era. That's what I don't think that's going to stick, but it was definitely telling of something. For him to say it that way, it's like a new story begins. It's like, what are you trying to tell us? Are you trying to foreshadow you're going to lose and that we're not in the final inning like everybody thinks we are? I don't know.
Don't put that evil out there, Ricky Bobby. Cody Rhodes is winning on Sunday. He has to win.
I agree. But again, it's a very weird thing to say it that way. Let's put it that way.
But let me see. It's the Triple H era. Yeah. I felt like this was such a weak way to end SmackDown.
Very much so. Well, and again, I mean, The Rock is there for the Hall of Fame. He comes out twice in the show. So it's like, now knowing he's there, you couldn't have him come out and, call out Cody Rhodes. You couldn't have him do something, And Reigns being
JJ
there too.
acknowledging Roman Reigns here. It was very weak. Yeah, definitely was. So
It didn't hype me at all.
honestly, it didn't hype me either. Like, if this is the go home show, like WWE has a habit of doing terrible go home shows to all their pay per views. You
Yeah,
know, like I've said, and I've always said on my show, the go home show is supposed to sell you the pay per view. You're supposed to want to tune in to
right.
see pay per view, and this didn't sell me. This is not sell me WrestleMania.
I mean, it didn't feel like there even is there's a pay per view this weekend. Oh, okay. I just feel that, I mean, I hate to say it. And I think Jim Cornette said it best one time. He said, once they did the $9.99 thing on the network, you're telling me your show is not worth paying $50 to watch now. So it's kind of like, oh, we're on Peacock. You can tune in if you want to. It's $5.99 a month.
I pay $11.99 a month. What are you
Or
talking
whatever
about?
it was. Yeah. But I'm saying the idea is, it's devalued itself accidentally without really meaning to. And so the go home show, they're like, people are going to tune in who wants to tune in.
I mean, I think that was going to be really hard to live up to that Raw from like 2 weeks ago. I don't think that they were ever going to be able to top that.
No. I mean, they had momentum, and I think that's where it's so hard for us to compare because there actually was for once a good Raw. So now it's, especially the go-home shows, we expected more fire, especially in Brooklyn. Brooklyn, usually their shows are pretty, Brooklyn the crowd usually helps, but like I say, I don't know.
I'm
don't
so
feel they were.
disappointed that I didn't see Cody toss a rock off the Brooklyn Bridge or into the East River.
No, that's the weird thing is really Cody has not gotten his vengeance yet. Unless he makes him bleed maybe on WrestleMania, maybe that's it. But I don't know. Again, the heat's missing.
Michael calls me the tribal queen. I don't know why. He called out Cody technically at the Hall of Fame. Ella again to SmackDown. Didn't matter. No, it did not matter. Best thing tonight, SmackDown was Andrade joining LWO. And we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
But first, tonight's SmackDown kicked off the Kevin Owens show. His special guest was Randy Orton. And like they're talking about Logan Paul and how annoying he is. And like apparently he's an 11 on a scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
I would have popped if they would have said on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, because that's my thing.
Yeah. Right. It was weird. It was a weird show. I mean, I get that they don't like Logan Paul, but still, there's not that sort of. At least I didn't feel there's a tension. Like if I win, I'm going to be U.S. champion. No, I think I'll be U.S. champion, and they didn't really play into it like I expected. Especially Kevin Owens and Randy Orton, both are opportunistic characters, I'll say, and they really just I don't know. It was all right. Let's just put it that way. At least for them two talking.
Like, he said A-Town down under after them, but obviously that was a big buzz. And later on in the night when Logan Paul comes out, he was talking about how he had an ambush already. But as we saw, Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were under the ring and they ambushed Logan Paul. Now, how you brought up how there was no heat between KO and Orton, there was that one moment where KO has his back turned and he's gonna send Logan Paul into Randy. I'm like, I wonder if Randy's gonna RKO Kevin Owens there,
Fair point. I didn't think about that, but I mean, they're just, I don't know. It seems like there should be more of this sort of common I mean, again, Logan Paul is the common enemy, but still it's that thing of, again, like you said, Orton could, just the way their characters are, I'm surprised we didn't have more of a tease of Orton doing like this, like that close, and Owens doing be like that close to hit you. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's going to be more of a handicap match for Logan Paul, seems like, at Mania.
Yeah. Somehow, some way, though, he'll probably retain his U.S. title.
Yep.
So get the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. I'm surprised this did not take place at the WrestleMania pre-show, but I feel like this match over the years has really haven't meant anything.
No.
Some notable spots in this that I liked was that moment where I guess we had the meat spot, which had Ivar, Otis, and Bronson Reed all together.
Right.
And then that spot where Ivar and Bronson Reed did the double crossbody in the middle of the ring. I thought those were cool spots.
It definitely had more. So go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. It's okay.
I said, Michael said, don't put that evil out there, Ricky Bobby. What evil?
Oh, the Cody Rhodes thing you mentioned earlier, right? Of him not winning. I mean, really, this was probably one of the, I don't want to say the better Andre the Giant, but I felt like, okay, they're actually fighting for it and there's something to battle for. I mean, I'm glad it didn't go to Ricochet. I still think Ivar should have won it. But again, Andre the Giant Battle Royal was a big thing. And now it's kind of like, oh, that's nice. They're going to have a SmackDown Battle Royal. That's cool. So, I mean, there's no prestige anymore of winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. It's almost like, who are they going to find to win? A smaller guy or a bigger guy?
Michael says no, that Logan Paul retaining the title.
Oh.
I also liked how Ivar and Bronson Reed pancake poor Akira Tozawa.
Tozawa, I mean, the man is the fact that he's still employed, which again, I mean, I'm glad he is, but I would have thought he was going to be like a first round cut, but his comedy and stuff and being able to do that, masterful.
The final two were Bronson Reed and Ivar. And, Bronson Reed ended up winning after he eliminated Ivar. I have to say, I hope this leads to a big push for Bronson Reed. I feel like Bronson Reed needed this a little bit more than Ivar because Ivar, I feel like he's gotten somewhat of a push. Mm-hmm. And Bronson Reed is kind of there,
I'll give you that. I mean, in terms of, momentum, I guess I was surprised Ivar didn't win. But again, it doesn't hurt Bronson Reed by winning it. Hopefully there's something more that comes from it besides, oh, I'm the Andre the Giant champion or Andre the Giant, Battle Royal champion. I don't know. I want more Bronson Reed because he definitely has something, but it seems like they're holding him back for some reason or another. I can't figure out why.
It's like, I still remember when he was Noah,
mm-hmm.
After he got released from the WWE. And he was incredible. I mean,
right.
I don't know if you watched TNA during that time, but his matches with PCO, his whole vibe with PCO was incredible. I think what he just needs is a good, just solid story and good booking.
Right. And that's the thing is he has it in him. I mean, again, he moves so fast and so does Ivar. I mean, I would love to see them feud. Now, who the babyface is, I don't know. But I still think that, there's potential there. I just, again, was surprised that, again, as you said, it's not on WrestleMania. So it doesn't feel like a WrestleMania thing anymore.
Right. Michael said almost even eliminated himself. He was in it and he was close to falling asleep. Yeah, I was surprised to see almost in this match. I wasn't expecting him.
That's what I thought was cool because I remember it seems like in Dallas at WrestleMania 32, like you had just random people like Shaquille O'Neal showed up in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. DDP showed, or not DDP, but you always had surprises. You know what I mean? And we never have that now. So I think it's just kind of one of those.
Jonah. Yeah, my bad, Jonah. I don't know why I said Noah. It's Friday. I'm tired.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. Again, I was disappointed, not in the result, but disappointed that this is not as special as it should be.
Yeah. You can add Jonah to the long list of names I butchered on that list. PCO is a badass, simply put. He is. All right. Add that to the list of, yeah.
Dang.
Unless it's for the shot, these Andre the Battle Royals are pointless. Yeah, they are. They kind of are.
Agreed.
So, before Zelina Vega versus Elektra Lopez started, we found out that Dragon Lee got attacked. And surprise, surprise, Carlito was the one who found it. So, leads me to believe that it was Carlito that took out Dragon Lee. Because if you notice, when Rey Mysterio picked Dragon Lee to be his partner, Carlito didn't seem too happy about that.
Yeah, well, and this is something we probably telegraphed and we're predicting pretty close to our predictions. We're just like, well, Carlito's probably not very happy that he's not going to be on WrestleMania, the biggest WrestleMania of all time, and he's going to pick some young kid in Dragon Lee. So, I mean, the seeds are there, and I think we're really starting to see the old Carlito come back.
All he's missing is the apple.
Yes.
To spit in the face of people who don't want to be cool.
Exactly.
So we get Zelina Vega versus Elektra Lopez. I'm still surprised these two ladies were not in the tag match. Like, it should have been a faction warfare match. The LWO versus Legado de Fantasma. That's the match we should have gotten.
Right. We're getting the Final Testament versus Bobby's Team Bobby, I guess, because they never had a name, I guess, officially. But, I mean, yeah, this would be a perfect Lucha Libre style. Everybody could have their spots. It'd be perfect. So, I am still surprised it's just a tag team match because, I mean, here's the thing too. Even if we got a 6-man or an 8-man, we could have had it be Lucha Libre rules to where, when one rolls out, they can roll back in. It would have been a unique kind of flavor to a WrestleMania match, and we didn't get that.
Maybe at Backlash. Maybe that's when we get the faction match.
We should, because otherwise the other teams in the faction don't feel like they're important.
Yeah, and we'll talk about that as we talk about what happened afterwards. So, this was a great showing by Zelina Vega. I'm not too familiar with Elektra Lopez. I know she was part of Legado de Fantasma when they were on NXT, but she didn't get brought up with them. So I'm not too familiar with her work. For those that watch NXT or you yourself, Josh, if you have any matches that you recommend with Elektra Lopez, just let me know.
No, not really. I mean, the best thing I can tell you about Elektra Lopez is not a couple months ago, and this has nothing to do with nothing, but she slimmed up a lot in her role from NXT to now. So, I mean, I can tell that there's a change there, but character-wise, she was there, but there wasn't any type of character development. I wasn't surprised she didn't go up with LWO initially or Legado because she kind of just was there.
Hey, Front Row Joe. All right. So then at the end, Elektra Lopez wins after she hits the electric shock. I like that electric shock. That's a cool.
Yeah.
That's a cool name. I think it goes.
It was perfect for there. Yeah.
Santos and Dom attacked Rey Mysterio, and and it's interesting because Andrade had come out with them, as we all know. Andrade and Zelina, she was his manager, and then Andrade attacks Dominic and Santos, and he stands by Zelina.
Yep.
Later on, we find out that Andrade is replacing Dragon Lee in this match, and you could tell Carlito was still not happy. What I think is going to happen is now that Andrade joined the LWO, Carlito's going to join Legado de Fantasma.
And he should. I always thought it was weird that he was in the LWO. It just didn't fit for me. I always thought he should have been Legado de Fantasma. So I'm not surprised. But I mean, I'm excited because Carlito really, since his return at Backlash, can you really tell me anything he's done? Wrestled a match here or there, but I mean, there's not really anything. They kind of dropped the ball with him because I mean, he was fighting Santos for a little bit. I think if I remember correctly, he either lost or just I don't know. Carlito kind of got lost in the shuffle. As a legacy character, I was surprised.
Yeah, he's just kind of been there.
Well, it's been 20 years since his debut. If that tells you anything. And I remember him debuting. That's even the weirder thing. My back, as you said the other day, starts to hurt now thinking about that. But
your back is hurting?
Yeah. I mean, it's just a surprise because, again, Carlito was pretty over when he debuted. So, I mean, they've kind of treated him like an afterthought right now.
Yeah. So next we get Jade, Cargill, Naomi, and Bianca Belair, all just like cowgirls. By the way, the presentation was really top-notch. I enjoyed Jade Cargill's presentation. All three ladies looked awesome. Jade Cargill especially looked like a star out there.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see. Carlito getting duped for both Andrade and Dragon Lee. I'd be a little bit annoyed too. Yeah.
For sure.
Now, I don't know what their faction name is. They call themselves the Big Three. I don't know if that's what they're going with.
I hated it.
I don't know if that's the official name. We haven't gotten official confirmation yet. That presentation for Jade was electric. Yeah, it was. Maybe Dominic Santos have a point about Rey. Yeah, maybe they do. But the one thing I want out of this is I really like the fact that Jade said they are now in the eye of the storm. I thought that was really cool. What I want, I was not happy with Naomi's booking from the time she came back to the Royal Rumble up until before last week. I was not happy because I saw her in TNA. TNA treated her like such a star. She was Knockouts champion. She tapped out Deonna Purrazzo. She was undefeated. She was just incredible in TNA.
Right.
And I had not liked her booking from the time she came back up until like about a week ago. What I want for this faction is just I want them to look good and to have good booking. That's all I want is for them to have good booking. That's why I think it's important that they win their WrestleMania debut match. They need that strong a start as a faction.
You know, the only thing I thought was so weird, and again, I get that Bianca and Naomi are friends, but they're kind of like, oh, and the new signing, Jade Cargill. And, you know, positioning is important in the ring, right? Always is. And she looked taller, she looked bigger. It almost seems as though Jade technically is the leader of this faction, even though she's brand new and nobody knows who she. I mean, I'd say that in the WWE universe, the idea is this is a Jade Cargill. She's supposed to be really strong and really whatever. But if you haven't seen her work, you're like, well, the other ones are champions. Why is she all of a sudden the boss, right? So I mean, their promo was fine, but again, it was very strange that we didn't get a damage control, at least at that time, coming out and attacking them, something like that. I don't know. It was just very weird to have them come out and then introduce Jade Cargill. Like, that's not typical type of thing other superstars would do, I would think. That's like, you know, Kevin Owens does it because it's the KO show, but I can't imagine in a tag team he's going to announce, oh, now it's Randy Orton. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're talking about, but you know, I think that they did that to highlight Jade as a star because Bianca is a star, no matter what.
Yeah.
Naomi's a star, and they want to turn Jade into the star, so they had to, you know, that's why she's the center.
I know. I don't know. I just feel like you said, I don't like Naomi's booking because, I mean, she proved a lot as Trinity in TNA that, you know, a lot has been, they've slept on her. I mean, they really have. And for her to come back and be now secondary to Jade, I get it. You know, there's only so much TV time, but I wanted more. I want it to be 3 women battling, not 2 women who need desperately help from Jade Cargill. That's what it feels like.
Oh, okay. You know, like I said, I just want this faction to have good booking and to be dominant. You know, that's all I want. It's just good booking for this faction.
Hopefully so. Hopefully this is the start of something good.
Yeah. All right. So then we get New Catch Republic versus A-Town Down Under. I thought this was a decent match. I really like that Birmingham Hammer that the New Catch Republic does. Trent Seven also does that, but then I remember Trent Seven and Tyler Bate were smashed Mustache Mountain, so it makes sense that they both have the same finisher.
Right.
But Judgment Day came out and attacked New Catch Republic and A-Town Down, and they're sending these tag teams in this ladder match a message.
It was almost too little too late now. It's like, okay, it's WrestleMania season. It's literally tomorrow. I don't know. I'm telling you, everything feels like they're a week behind. A week or 2 behind at building the matches up. That's what it feels like to me. In the weirdest way possible.
Yeah, I could see why you think that. But, like, you know, my biggest complaint, and hopefully, like, that's why I'm really happy that they're splitting the titles, is you have Judgment, like, and I talked about this before, you have Judgment Day. They spent all their time on Raw. I would have liked if they bounced around from, like, brand to brand between pay-per-views. So, like, let's say Backlash, you do a Raw feud. What's after Backlash? Money in the Bank, you do a SmackDown feud, you know, like that. But they spent the majority of time on the Raw. That's why I was advocating so much for them to split the titles, because it's like I felt there were so many deserving tag teams that deserved to be tag team champions, but they couldn't because the titles were stuck on Raw.
They got this weird thing of like, oh, we need to make the undisputed titles now together. I mean, it's really because of the bloodline that we had everything undisputed. And I mean, it made sense, but I don't know. At the time, it's kind of like, so you're telling me of all those tag teams, nobody could beat the Usos but Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn?
Hey, it was a great story.
It was. Don't get me wrong. But I still feel that we could have had the same story minus having the Raw and SmackDown and still build somebody on SmackDown, because most of the story was always on Monday Night Raw, it seemed like, or you know, like it never really felt cohesive. Let's just say that.
I was there live to see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn win those tag titles. That was incredible. I got pictures.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, we get LA Knight. Yeah. Basically calling out AJ Styles, saying he's phenomenal at not showing up to work. He botched during this. He almost choked on his gum. Did you notice that?
Yeah. He tried not to sell it, but yeah, I was like, uh-oh. I can never understand. I would never chew gum when wrestling, I'd be afraid I'd swallow it, choke on it, So I never understood that. But he's calling out AJ Swole.
You know what happened to me? I don't know if I told you this, but this isn't related to WWE, but it's related to choking on stuff. So like when I was eating dinner when Okada debuted in AEW, I was eating dinner. When I heard that iconic coin drop, I nearly choked on my dinner.
Oh wow, dang!
Yeah,
Okada almost took you out too.
yeah. But anywho, I thought this was a good promo by LA Knight. Yeah, but again, I feel like we needed AJ in this segment.
Well, especially because in the Hall of Fame, you see him. He's there. It's prominent when you see him in the background. Like, he's there. Why did he not come out? You're telling me that a LA Knight promo is going to build WrestleMania? And my gosh, that is literally what we'll talk about this later. But Rock and Roman were at the Hall of Fame. Where in the world were they in this entire, show? So to me, again, I told you, everything feels so backwards now.
Only person you never had to worry about choking on their gun was the one and only Mr. Perfect Kurt Kenny.
Absolutely perfect. Yes. You're right about that.
Absolutely. We get a Bayley video package which highlights her accomplishments and her feud with Io Sky. Absolutely really love this video package. I thought that's the one thing that WWE always does great is these video packages. This was such an incredible video package that if you haven't been keeping up, this would have quickly brought you up to speed.
Which is what we need. I mean, that to me was that to me is how you sell a feud. So it's, I agree. I have no complaints about that. I thought, and you realize, dang, Bayley's been there for a while and has done a lot. So It really made sense that here's her redemption story.
It definitely is. All right, and we're going to end there because we already talked about the main event and the ending segment. So, Josh, on a scale from a 1 to a Sean Spears perfect 10, what did you think of tonight's show?
I'm going to give it a 3. I don't feel like I missed anything. I mean, if I had not watched it, there's nothing I could have been like, oh man, you missed the go home show, right? I mean, so I give it a 3. It was horrible. It was a terrible show.
Michael gives it a 4 out of 10. I thought for the most part that if this would have been your run-of-the-mill SmackDown, it wouldn't have been as bad. But because it's the go-home show, JJ's asking how long you've been a wrestling fan. I don't think he's going to show you his age right now.
I'll tell the quick story. So I actually started watching in 96. And what's funny is I only could watch WCW because I wasn't, 14 then. But went over to my cousins and would watch WWF. But that's the weird thing about me is that I not only started watching in 96 when the NWO was at its peak. I actually would go back on purpose, find tapes, watch old shows from the 70s, 80s, whatever I could find, I would absorb it. And magazines and internet being what it was, you really couldn't just, pull it up on YouTube back then. That was beforehand. So, I would say, let's see, 96, what? Almost 06, 16, almost 30 years? Almost. So it's been a while. Yeah, I know.
You've been a wrestling fan for as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah. So it's been a while, but again, I would go back and watch a lot of stuff back then with tape traders.
Yeah. So, like I said, if this would have been in any other SmackDown, I felt like it would have been a decent show. But this is a go-home show. This is supposed to get you to tune into WrestleMania. This just didn't do it for me.
No.
So I'd also have to give this a 4 out of 10.
It's almost become a parody of itself of like, hey, we got WrestleMania and the Hall of Fame and the Slammies and this. It's like, guys, you're doing too much. It's too much. It's going to oversaturate the market. And I get it. People will pay the money. But in reality, is it really good to have all this at once? It's almost too much because I was sitting there thinking when Rock was talking about, oh, it's 2 days. I'm like, God, I'm not going to put it out in the ether, but what if they decide, let's do 3 days of WrestleMania? Because why not? It just gets bigger, and sometimes it can burst a bubble if they're not careful.
I remember when WrestleMania was just Raw, SmackDown, and the Hall of Fame, and then they added NXT TakeOver.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much for me.
Yeah. All right, Josh, as we get ready to wrap up, where can people find you?
Just on Twitter at Gamer Peroski. That's it. And, of course, on, the APlus Hero Report. And then every once in a while, I'll do a run-in guest special appearance on, Rangers of Wrestling, of course, too.
Yeah, they're going to be seeing you more often.
Yep.
All right. As for myself, you guys know you can follow me on Twitter at @SL_. I talk all things wrestling. And if you like TNA, I talk all things TNA exclusively on Body Slam every Thursday. As far as tomorrow is concerned, we are coming back tomorrow. What time does NXT start? 9, I think, right? 9.
Yeah, 9 a.m. to you,
on a
11 a.m. to
Saturday.
us. Yeah, I'm going to be like, great, cool.
Yeah, but for you, it's like 11.
True.
So we're going to be doing the NXT Stand and Deliver dual stream. And then we're going to be doing WrestleMania Night 1, WrestleMania Night 2, Raw Go Home, Raw after Mania, SmackDown after Mania, and then Josh will exclusively do NXT on APlus Hero Report, and I'll be joining him. Michael says, good luck getting up early for NXT. I mean, I get up early I got up early for All In, so.
Well, I got up early for Elimination Chamber, so, it is
That's
what
because
it is.
you chose to. I was not going to get up at 2 a.m.
I didn't mind.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll see you guys tomorrow after NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Bye.
All right, see ya.